All right, welcome to part 4 of our active learning series, which is focusing on instructional strategies and integrating it with Google Slides. And I will also do that with Pear Deck today. And we like to use these types of instructional strategies because it creates a sequence. It creates, for example, an opportunity for our students to process the information they're receiving, as well as collaborate and interact with the content that we're teaching them to help them build their skills and content knowledge. And today, we're going to focus on a strategy you may use in your classroom historically when it's just been physically in person, just using like a think, pair, share. I like to incorporate write in that protocol because it allows students to take that information and internalize it. So we include write in there as well. So we're taking a really, I think, applicable strategy that can be used in any setting, whether you're in person or online, with Google Slides and with Pear Deck to create a really fun and engaging opportunity for students to learn. And our agenda today is just to really just model the strategy. And then after you watch this video, go ahead and you'll see the slides that are linked underneath the video. Take an opportunity, make a copy of these slides, and then take slide number 3 through about 12 and use it as a copy and incorporate that into one of your lessons in the next couple of weeks or whenever you would like. And where you can use this strategy, think, write, pair, share, is for formative assessment. So at the beginning, at the end of class, see where your students are at in terms of what they're learning. You can use it to activate prior knowledge, where you are taking content or skills from a lesson beforehand, and you're using this strategy to help them to brainstorm and collaborate and then discuss as an entire class what they've been learning. You can also do it during guided practice when you're teaching them a new skill or some new content, and also just for having these collaborative conversations and student collaboration. So I'm going to go through the strategy right now, and I'm going to be showing you how to do it on Google Slides first, and then I'll show you how to utilize it via Pear Deck. So what you're going to do is you'll have a first slide where it's a think slide. You can have an image here, and you can have a prompt, or you can have one or the other, and you want to provide your students with an opportunity to think about something, have them process it. And for this example, we have a prompt, and we ask them in this specific example, why do we need to provide an evidence statement in our thesis? So you pose the question to them, and you give them about 30 seconds to about 45 seconds of think time. They're not required to do anything at this point. And what will happen after that sequence is you're going to go to the next slide. And if this is just a normal Google slideshow, you have a couple of options for you. The first option is that if you want to create a copy for each of your students to write on, say, for example, to write slide for Matt, Anne, Jan, etc., you could do that. Or you could already have this slideshow within your learning management system, so on Canvas or Google Classroom or whatever you're using, and each student has a copy of it. So then that means the students can go ahead and write on this next slide. And what students will do is you'll give them about 2 to 3 minutes or up to even 5 minutes, depending on what type of task you're asking them to do. They're writing or they're solving a problem, and they're completing that now. And after they're done, you're going to have them pair with a student. So if they're in person, they can go to the person right next to them. Or if you're online, you can create a breakout room and pair them with someone in a breakout room. And the goal here is for them to, each of them to share their response that they have written down, And then once they're done, they're going to combine that response and write it on the next slide. So to prepare, sometimes if you are, for example, if each student has their own slide, you pare it down to the number of groups that you're going to have. If you have 16 students, you're going to have 8 of these pair and share slides, and you can assign the students to them if you'd like. And they're combining their responses. You give them about 2 to 3 minutes to combine their responses, or even longer, depending on the sophistication of the task. And what you'll do is that after they're done, so if you're in person, you'll have one of the groups possibly share out loud, or multiple groups to share. And if it's in the breakout rooms, you'll do the same thing. You'll pull them back from the breakout rooms and they'll share their response. And what's cool is if you are on your learning management system like Canvas or Google Classroom, you can go back and see these responses, and the students can turn in their slideshow when they're done with the class session. So this is just one example of how you can use Think, Write, Pair, Share with Google Slides. Now I'm going to show you another layer of that, and that is with our Pear Deck. And many of you already have that Pear Deck add-ons, and we talk a lot about it on our ETCN EdTech website, and there's a number of tutorials of getting started. But remember, you always have it to get add-ons, and then you add the Pear Deck add-on. And essentially what you're going to be doing is you can have these same slides out, and you can already create the slide templates. And essentially what you're going to do is, what's great about Pear Deck is that as the teacher, when you're implementing it, you can see each of your students' responses in real time, and you can provide them whether it's overt verbal feedback or covert written feedback. And by easily turning these slides into really interactive Pear Deck slides, we can really enhance this strategy, whether we're in person or online, so that you can see all the responses at a single time in real time. So for this, the first slide, the Think slide, you can just keep that the same. You don't need to turn it into an interactive slide. But for the right slide, you can go and, for example, you can turn it into a text slide or a draw slide. And what that does on Pear Deck is it allows your students to write the response directly onto the slide so that you can see everyone's response in real time. Also, if you do draw, you can have them write and even draw on the slide. So whether it's a math problem, or you want them to draw a diagram, or you want them to annotate something on their right slide and then provide a short little summary, you can definitely do that as well. And for the share and for the pair and share slide, you can do that as well. You'll create it so that it is a text or draw slide, so that when you pair the students together, each of the students can write down on this specific slide their synthesized answer after they've had that collaborative conversation. So it's very seamless when you start the strategy by integrating Pear Deck. So I'm going to show you now when we start the lesson. So if we were going to start a Pear Deck lesson, all you need to do is, after you're done with your slides, you click Start Lesson, Instructor Paste. And say, for example, I am in person. The easiest way in person, if every student has a cell phone or device, is that the students can go to joinpd.com and they can just type in this code quickly, and they can go and fill out the slides. Or you can give them a link and you can post that on your Canvas, or you can post it on your Google Classroom, or send it via email, or whatever way you are communicating with your students. So there's multiple ways of doing that. And if you're on Zoom, for example, you can just copy that link and you can put it into the Zoom chat. And you can copy and paste it there, and the students can enter that slideshow there. And when you're ready, you can press continue, and you can see the students entering and populated. And what's something that you can look at, which is, I've shown this a couple times, but I'm going to share my screen and show you the teacher dashboard real quickly. So here we go. And I'm going to show you that teacher dashboard. Let's see here. So this is a teacher dashboard. And once you close the join code, you can essentially see each of the students' responses on Pear Deck for each of the slides. So when you go through the strategy through, you have them think and process, and then when they're writing, you can see all the responses going in real time. And you can provide them short little text feedback, or after they've done writing, you can provide whole class feedback and direct the students. Maybe a number of them were making some errors, or maybe you wanted to illustrate some of their successes, and you can do that by clicking on show responses, and you can show all the students in your class while they're viewing their Pear Deck slideshow their responses, and you can focus on a couple of them which are anonymous that maybe are showing that strength or area improvement that you want to work on. And then the same thing with the pair and share. The students are writing their response or synthesized response, and you can see that coming in real time. And then when you want to get ready for the students to share, you can show the responses and pin the response that you want to focus on, and that group can read it out loud and further elaborate on it. So that is essentially how it works using that teacher dashboard. And you can even include a new prompt if you feel like there's something that you want to add. And Pear Deck has a lot of great little diagrams and true and false statements, just writing a response. There's a lot of different things that you can monitor and adjust your instruction just on the fly if you'd like. And if, for example, you want your students to stop and focus on what you're providing, you can always lock their screens on Pear Deck so they can't write or do anything of that nature. So that is the teacher dashboard for you. And it's a really powerful tool, which I really like for Pear Deck. So I'm going to share my screen again on the main presentation now. And let's take a look here. And this is what it looks like when you're presenting it on just a normal dashboard for your students. So your students will see this essentially, and they'll be able to write their response on the right-hand side. A text column will appear. And if it's a draw slide, for example, they'll have the text opportunity as well as a draw opportunity as well. So I'm going to show you the rest of the task. After you've reviewed this content, go ahead and make a copy of this slideshow, and then fill in the slideshow with a prompt that you want to use for the strategy, think, write, pair, share. And you can do it just on a Google Doc and utilize the options I presented to you, or you can go ahead and use the Pear Deck option and incorporate that integration there and make it even more interactive. And if you have any questions, please let me know and I can fill it out with you or complete it with you, and we can have a session, or go ahead and share it with me and tell me how it went in your class. And if you feel like it's something that you want to showcase, we can put it on our ETCN EdTech website as something, as a template for teachers to download and use in their class. So I look forward to seeing this more in your classes. This is an amazing strategy that you can use that is a fun and engaging one, and one that doesn't take that much time for you to build into your instruction. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.